Welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. I'm Disal Kapuge bringing you the news for News First, who is and always will be with the people. Starting off by taking a look at your headlines.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe sworn in as a Minister of Finance. No new financing to Sri Lanka until macroeconomic policy is in place, World Bank states. Idea to increase prices of premium products explode, tweets Energy Minister. Tel Deepangama, a new village in Hambantota. Attacks on Gota Gogama and Maina Gogama. Prisons Department produces suspects at Fort Magistrates Court. Shooting at a primary school in the USA. 21 killed.
Now taking a look at your top story, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was appointed as the Minister of Finance, Economic Stabilisation and National Policies. He took oaths as the new Finance Minister before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa this morning. Now moving on.
Speaking to foreign media, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that he will present an interim budget within 6 weeks, slashing infrastructure projects to reroute funds into a 2-year relief program for Sri Lanka.
Cutting down expenditure, cutting to the bone where possible. We know it's going to be difficult, that's why we are looking at relief, at least a 2-year relief program. There will be interim budget. We cut off all the development work and put more money in. One is to ensure that we can pay the higher interest rates, and secondly to ensure that there's more money for the affected people. But that alone won't do. We have no rupee revenue, and now we have to print another $1 trillion rupees. So you can see how inflation is will have an impact.
The World Bank says until an adequate macroeconomic policy framework is in place, the World Bank does not plan to offer new financing to Sri Lanka.
Issuing a statement, the World Bank says recent media reports have inaccurately stated that the World Bank is planning support for Sri Lanka in the form of a bridge loan or new loan commitments, among other incorrect assertions. The World Bank says it is concerned for the people of Sri Lanka and is working in coordination with the IMF and other development partners in advising on appropriate policies to restore economic stability and broad-based growth. According to the statement, the World Bank is currently repurposing resources from previously approved projects to help the government with some essential medicines, temporary cash transfers for poor and vulnerable households, school meals for children of vulnerable families, and support for farmers and small businesses.
Alright, moving on to more local news. The Samagga Jana Balawega says it is time for Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to show his financial expertise. If Ranil Wickremesinghe took on this challenge and protected the Rajapaksas, then he must next address the woes of the entire citizenry of this country. If not, he will go down in history as a traitor like Judas or Mollygood, who betrayed the country in the past. It is time for Ranil Wickremesinghe to show your economic prowess and feed the people and put an end to these queues. Time has come for you to show off your magic tricks. Now, the United States Agency for International Development has pledged to assist Sri Lanka in overcoming difficult times. Samantha Power, Administrator for US Aid, in a telephone conversation with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, pledged their support yesterday. Now, the people struggle at Gota Gogama protest site in front of the President's office in Colombo entered its 47th day.
The people are demanding the government, including the President, to take accountability and resign over the crisis. Many people from all across the country joined the protests last night and today as well. People from various parts of the country have gathered at the protest site.
Now, also a tense situation was reported between two groups outside Fort Magistrates Court today.
A group of protesters from the Gota Gogama protest site staged a protest at the entry road to the Fort Magistrates Court.
වහාම මැර මහින්ද ඒ වගේම ඊයේ පැය 5ක් බොරුවට සාක්ෂි දුන්නා කියලා පස්සේ දොරෙන් පැනලා ගිය ජොන්ස්ටන් ඇතුළු ඉන්න මැරයන් වහාම අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න කියලා ඒ වගේම ඔබ කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න 3000කට වඩා වැඩි පිරිසක් මේ වෙද්දි මේ අරගලේ ආරක්ෂා කරන්න ආපු පිරිස අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන තියෙනවා නම් 22ක් ඉදිරිපත් කළා තිබුණා. ඒකෙන් 8 දෙනයි තාම අඩුම තරමේ අත්අඩංගුවට අරන් තියෙන්නේ. කොතනද මෙතන නීතියේ තියෙන සාධාරණිකෝ විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ ගෝල් ෆේස් අරගලයට මහින්ද ජොන්ස්ටන් ඇතුළු මැරයන් ඒ එල්ල කරපු මේච්ච ප්‍රහාරය අධිකරණය ඇතුළේදී සාධාරණයක් ඉෂ්ට කරයි කියන බලාපොරොත්තුවෙන් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා අද අපි කවුරුත් නිහඬව සාමකාමීව මෙතනට විරෝධය පළ කරන්න ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ.
However, another group who arrived at the location started an argument with the protesters. Officials attached to the court then noted that the group had arrived at courts for an identification parade.
ඒක මට අදාළ නැහැ මොහොතින් ආව බැරි වෙලා හරි එක්ස්කියුස් මී පොඩ්ඩක් බැරි වෙලා හරි මෙයාලගෙන් ප්‍රහාරයක් අපිට එල්ලුනොත් ඒකත් අදාළ නැහැ කියනවා. ඉතින් ප්‍රහාරය මහත්තයා ඔබතුමාලා ආවේගශීලීත්වයක් ඇති කරොත් ඇතිවෙන්නේ එහෙමද ඉදා ඇති කරේ. එහෙමද ඉදා ඇති කරේ. මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ මම උසාවියේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්නේ.
However, a tense situation was reported once again when it was determined that some from the group was not for the identification parade. Police later intervened and brought the situation under control. The Department of Prisons today produced before the Fort Magistrates Court the group of suspects including MPs Sanath Nitha and Milan Jaitilaka who were arrested in connection with the attack carried out on the peaceful protesters at Gota Gogama and Maina Gogama on the 9th of May. Of the group, 8 suspects will be produced for an identification parade today.
The Ministry of Power and Energy says steps are being taken to settle the payment of $75 million for the ship carrying crude oil, which is currently anchored in the Sri Lankan waters. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation says the unloading process of the petrol and diesel shipments that reach the country have concluded and island-wide distribution of fuel is ongoing.
People continue to wait in queues at filling stations across Sri Lanka, despite numerous assurances from the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. A group of people staged a protest blocking the Hambantota Kataragama main road near Kohlangala, demanding fuel. The group said that a filling station in the area refused to distribute the fuel until the price hike was announced. The group only allowed the fuel station to issue fuel for essential services. They established a demonstration site named Teldi Pangama last night. Many filling stations across Anuradhapura were closed this morning as they did not have stocks of fuel to distribute to the market. Our Newsfirst correspondent said that there was no fuel in any of the filling stations in Anuradhapura. However, large crowds were seen gathered at these filling stations waiting for fuel to arrive. Our Newsfirst correspondent said neither petrol or diesel were available at any filling stations in Badulla. However, long queues could be seen at these filling stations despite fuel not being available. Some people were seen making creative items while waiting in queues.
The Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara, says the authorities have explored the idea to increase the prices of premium petroleum products.
Minister Wijesekara tweeted that the daily requirement of 95-octane petrol and super diesel are less than 10% of the market share. The minister said driving up prices significantly on both 95-octane petrol and super diesel will not be a solution. He said such a measure would create an artificial demand for lesser-priced products.
The trade unions collective distributed leaflets near the Fort railway station this morning, demanding the government to resign. Today the prices of everything has increased amidst the hike in fuel prices. The country is in a state where the people cannot survive. The cost of goods has skyrocketed. Against this backdrop, we are informing the people that the government must resign. On the one hand, while there are pressing issues with regard to the increasing prices of goods, the government on the other hand is carrying out a dangerous movement of suppression. We know that instead of arresting those who attacked the people's struggle at Galface, they are detaining innocent activists across the island over the violence that erupted following the attacks. This process has not ended. On the one hand, there is suppression, and on the other, there is the economic crisis. The people cannot bear this. Another phase of the Divisavya program to distribute dry rations among families in need is underway in Badulla district today. The program entered its 15th day today.
The Divisavya program, sponsored by LOLC Holdings, aims to support low-income families in many parts of Sri Lanka. Under the Divisavya program, essential goods are being distributed to low-income families who are facing serious financial difficulties.
The Department of Irrigation warned that minor floods are likely in the low-lying areas of the Kalu River Basin as the catchment areas have received considerable rainfall.
The residents in the low-lying areas of the Palindanuara and Bulat Sinhala Divisional Secretariat divisions are advised to remain vigilant regarding rising water levels. Our correspondent reported that there is a risk of minor floods in the Kirialla area in Ratnapura. In today's weather forecast, the Met Department says heavy showers or thunder showers above 100 millimeters are likely in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Galle, Mathura, Kurunegala, Kandy, Nuwara and Putlam districts. Showers or thunder showers are likely in the eastern and Uva provinces during the evening hours.
Now, a tense situation was reported at the Department of Immigration and Immigration this morning for not accepting applications for new passports. The situation erupted when a request to accept passport applications without a prior appointment was rejected by the officials.
Issuing an advisory on the situation, the Department of Immigration and Immigration said that a prior appointment must be made. The department notes passports will only be issued to applicants with prior appointments. An appointment can be made via www.immigration.gov.lk or by contacting 070 7101 060.
A tragic day in the US. 19 young children and 2 adults have died in a shooting at a primary school in South Texas.
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max කැටේ රුපියල් 6ක Max ඉතිරියක් එක්ක.
Diabetesol සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට විශේෂයි. Diabetesol
Max Clean එකක් දෙන විම් වෙතින් දැන් කැටතුනේ විම් Max.
And that's a wrap of your lunchtime news here on TV1. For details of these stories and much more, log on to our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. And also stay tuned for primetime news coming your way at 9 p.m. tonight. Have a great day.